all here against the CCP. And we're here demanding human rights in China now. And we are aware of all concurrent protests for Palestinians nearby. And we humbly request all participants not to display any protest materials not against the CCP. Because we want the CCP to hear us loud and clear that we're watching them, and CCP's time is up.
To start today's event, I want to remind you that 75 years ago, the Human Rights Declaration was signed. However, today there are so many violations of human rights around the world, and we are here to condemn China's serious violation of human rights in various regions, from Tibet to East Turkestan to China to Hong Kong. Now we will start with playing the Canadian national anthem.
Next, we will honor those died for fighting for freedom with 1 minute of silence, starting now.
Our first speaker of today will be Western Yang from Assembly of Citizens. And before he starts his speech, we will be playing a song which the name translates as The Wound of History. Just briefly about this song. It was written by a group of Taiwanese musicians after the Tiananmen Square massacre has happened on June the 4th, 1989. And they dedicated the song to the brave students and civilians who protested on the Tiananmen Square in Beijing. And we have never played this song in any podcast before, except our Tiananmen Square commemoration. So we would like to share this song with you and invite Western afterwards. Let us welcome Western.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I believe I do have acquaintance with most of you already. Because for the last couple of years, we linked together in our cause and in our need. We have fought side by side for our native soil, aiding each other like good comrades and utmost of our strength, regardless of our religion, culture, or background. If we don't unite and show our solidarity and strike back hard, the president of China could be the future of Canada. We all know that. Always remind yourself before sleeping. The concentration camp in East Turkestan is still there. Tibetans are still exiled from their own territory. Human rights issue in China still not resolved, and Hong Kong is still living under the tyranny. Don't even mention about this tyranny has already established a couple overseas police stations just a couple streets away from here. We need support in order to win this battle. We need support from international society, from Canada, from Canadian government, and local organizations. To do that, every phone call to the MP's office, every vote during election time, every name signed on the petition will be significantly important. Also, it appears that the tide has changed recently. Due to the foreign influence of Chinese government, foreigners, government around the free world have noticed and been aware of the threatening of this hideous regime. Like us, China is one of them. We will keep pushing, keep fighting, and bring public awareness on this agenda. We will not rest, we will not reach. Because I have to remind all of you that the city is a full-time job dictator. The circumstances happening in China deserves equal attention as Palestine and Israel conflict, as the Russian-Ukraine war. It has been too long since the international society has neglected this hideous crisis of human rights and basic freedom. It has been too long since the Communist Party has murdered our kin, our cousin, brutally, and subjected the victims of home, our land, and their security. It is in this word, Universal Declaration states, whereas it is essential if people are not to be confused of the recourse as a last resort to rebellion against tyranny and opposition. The human rights should be protected by the rule of law. This is what the Universal Declaration states. It is what I believe, and it is what I heard from our comrades. I have met all over the place. We must come together to protect our shared human rights value and our shared humanity. And we the people, with solidarity and strength, shall never be defeated. We will never forget, never forgive, and never surrender. Human rights in China now!
Human rights in China now!
Human rights in China now!
Human rights in
Human rights in Hong Kong now! Human rights in Tibet now! Human rights in Vietnam now! Thank you! Let's fight and never surrender!
Thank you, Professor.
And our next speaker is the political coordinator from Canadian Tibetan Association of Ontario, and she will also speak on behalf of Regional Tibetan Youth Congress of Toronto and Tibetan Women's Association of Ontario. But before we invite her, we will play Tibetan national anthem.
Mở ra giùm buồn.
Long live Dalai Lama. That's right. Hello, brothers and sisters. We are all here today on this very important day of International Human Rights Day. Ask yourself, why are we here? Because we all share the same pain, the same suffering that is imposed upon us, that is forced upon us by none other than CCP, Communist Party of China. Since 1959 in Tibet, China has exhausted, and I want you to read this, exhausted all human rights violations. Why are we tolerating them so much? Why? I asked this to the Canadian government, Justin Trudeau, and I asked the international government, why are we tolerating? Why are we letting China take over the role of the demon, killing, imprisoning, repressing, not just in Tibet, Hong Kong, Uyghur, Southern Mongolia, Taiwan, Vietnam, in Tibet, and in all these nations, we do not have freedom of speech, freedom of religion. There is severe restrictions in online access, repression of religious leaders, imprisonment, torture, and while they're in custody, women are forced to have abortion. There's forced sterilization of men. Why are we letting this happen? I asked this to Canada and the entire world. Since 1980s, in Tibet, China has started colonial residential boarding school. Now, we have more than 1 million Tibetan children which somehow CCTV attempt to eradicating our culture, our tradition, our identity. evilness
in their action.
I will tell you a story that happened in Colorado. Long in Tibet, 2 little girls were taken away from their home. Just within the first month of their residential school, they only speak Mandarin among themselves. They are distant and estranged from their family when they're having family dinner. Imagine that. So now this is ongoing while we are all watching. I'm talking about the people who have power to make change. I'm talking to Canadian government, Justin Trudeau, and the international government all around the world. We urge you to have dialogue. Should have been just within the United States of America. What did you talk about? Economy? Finance? Agriculture? What? The most important and the basic human rights. Did you talk about that? I asked this to the United States of America. China has also been taking Tibetan DNA. Imagine speaking against them regarding that. You will be tortured, you will be imprisoned. Children as young as 5 years old, their DNA are forced from them. Parents have no rights to speak for their children, to speak for themselves. This is current Tibet right now. And guess who is providing all these DNA kits? Foreign nations, and especially the United States of America. Federal Fisher, based in Massachusetts and branch all over the world. I asked the United States of America, why are you letting this happen? We can't take it anymore. In Tibet, 170 monks, nuns, lay people are self-immolated themselves because it's too much. It's too much to take for a group of people, from another group of people. This is absurd. So I urge each and every one of you who are here, who are listening online, please help us help each other. We can do this. We can stand up against this evil demon CCP. Human rights for all. Human rights for all.
Human rights for all.
Human rights for all.
Human rights for all.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Shanket from the East Turkestan Association of Canada, and we will be playing the national anthem of East Turkestan.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to express my deep gratitude to all of you being here for standing with us, for joining us in this voice of the voiceless. The 9th of December 2021, the Uyghur Tribunal and UK-based international lawyers declared that the People's Republic of China committed torture and crime against humanity and genocide against Uyghurs. By the imposition of the measures to prevent violence intended to destroy a significant part of the Uyghurs in Eastern Pakistan. As said beyond reasonable doubt, the CCP committed a genocide. Each year, Uyghurs in diaspora remember December 9 as a Uyghur Genocide Day and organizes various protests around the world. On this International Human Rights Day, the Eastern Pakistan Association of Canada strongly condemns China's gross human rights violation against Uyghurs and other Turkic minorities, Tibet, and Hong Kong peoples. Although many Western countries, including Canada, recognize the Uyghur genocide, no concrete action has been taken other than verbally acknowledging the genocide. More needs to be done to end the suffering of all innocent people under the Chinese Communist regime. Government should urgently introduce forced labor regulations, impose targeted sanctions, and increase their support for diaspora communities and Uyghur refugees. Due to lack of the meaningful action against China's atrocities in all countries and at the UN Human Rights Council, China continues to disregard the call to end the genocide and speak of the genocide by all means. China's concentration camps and the lockdown camps were established for Uyghurs and Tibetans as operation models and the new being expanded to many cities in China. The Eastern Pakistan Association of Canada called on government to fulfill their responsibilities under the UN Genocide Convention and to take all necessary steps to end the ongoing Uyghur genocide. We call on world leaders to take immediate action to end the Chinese government human rights atrocities. Millions of Uyghurs in China concentration camps and the Uyghurs suffering from cold and hunger in current lockdown tents are calling you to their lives. Right. Under the dictatorship of the CCP, it doesn't matter whether it is Xi Jinping or someone else is ruling over the CCP, the genocide happening in Eastern Pakistan. Operation against Tibetans and the brutal silencing the democracy in Hong Kong will not stop until the Communist Party of China is stepped down. Let's continue to fight together against the CCP, and we believe we will be victorious soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafki. Our next speaker is a long-time fighter for human rights, and she represents the spirits of human rights, and it's Sheng Xue from Federation for a Democratic China.
On this day in 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was adopted at the United Nations General Assembly in Paris, which clarified that fundamental human rights need to be universally protected. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights solemnly promised that everyone should enjoy human rights. The human rights of everyone should be protected, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, language, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. It is the most translated document in the world. It is available in more than 500 languages. Today is the 75th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. But let's look at all of us here. The countries that we come from, our beliefs, our nations, our culture, our language, our chances of survival, our basic security. Where are those basic human rights of ours? Yes, in countries with freedom, democracy, and the rule of law, their human rights are protected. And human rights in this region have been greatly promoted. But the world has long ignored human rights under tyranny. For example, in North Korea, Cuba, Iran, Vietnam, and especially in China, especially in areas under the control of the CCP, and in Tibet, is Turkestan, Southern Mongolia, Manchuria, and now Hong Kong. In other words, the world is incapable of doing anything about the CCP's massive human rights persecution. International Human Rights Day is not a day worth celebrating for us, but a day that makes us feel ashamed, because billions of people have been living under the most brutal CCP since 1949. Less than a year after the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, suffering all kinds of persecution under the tyranny. We demand that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights guide the world and liberate the people who are enslaved by the tyranny of the Chinese Communist regime. Free Tibet!
Free Tibet!
Free East Turkestan!
Free East Turkestan!
Free Southern Mongolia!
Free Southern Mongolia!
Free Hong Kong!
Free Hong Kong!
And free Manchuria!
Free Manchuria!
Thank you.
from Toronto Association for Democracy in China, and we will be playing Glory to Hong Kong.
Sisters and comrades of human rights movement, thank you for being here. As all the previous speakers have said earlier, today is the 70th anniversary of the International Declaration for Human Rights, Universal Human Rights. This year's theme is freedom, equality, and justice for all. We underscore the word all, because regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, abilities, ethnic origin, languages, we are here today because we share the same dream that Tibet will be free again, East Pakistan will be free again, people will be out of the concentration camp in this region, Hong Kong will be free again, and down with CCP!
Down
CCP!
CCP!
I'm sure the time will join up. The first blind lawyers in Hong Kong, and with her fierceness, she was at front and center of the 2019 movement. I just want to close by saying, in book, the saying of Liu Xiaobo, the 2010 Nobel Peace Laureate, he says, freedom of expression is the foundation of human rights. We need to remind our Canadian government, as previous speakers have said, human rights is paramount. Let's not put traits before human rights. Human rights, democracy, we need to remind our government, democracy is a right and not a crime. Democracy is a right. Democracy is a right. And not a crime. Free all political prisoners. I'll pass it on to Joy for quick comment.
Hello, everybody. Today, we all understand this is the 75th anniversary of the Declaration, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. At that time, the declaration was adopted by China. But it is so interesting. The successor, the unknown successor of China is the People's Republic of China, which took the seat of Security Council and have not observed human rights from 1970s from the very beginning now. Now, I have to say, first of all, I really have to thank the indigenous people who let us use this holy land for our gathering. If we respect indigenous people, we also hope everybody here to respect human rights, including to the right and their operation to the situation in China. Now, I understand that everybody should have the right of freedom of no fear. But now, today, I'm not quite sure if everybody here has the right of no fear. But I'm quite sure in Hong Kong, in Southern Mongolia, in Manchuria, in Eastern Turkestan, in Tibet, and even in Taiwan, the people there would not enjoy the right or the freedom or the silence of enjoyment of their life and the right of no fear. In Canada, we believe we uphold the right and the freedom under the Declaration of Human Rights. However, we should also look at in Canada, even in Canada, there are many Chinese Communist police stations here. They are observing us in surveillance. So that we should fight for the freedom. We should fight for the freedom of no fear in Canada. We should lobby the parliament or the senator not to allow the Chinese Communist Party to establish or to locate any so-called police station in Canada to threaten the people here. Lastly, the focus is equity, freedom, and justice. I hope justice will be upheld.
Nha, em hai người thôi, hai người thôi.
The release of the political prisoners of Jimmy Light and others, any other people, no matter whether their race, their religion, their culture, we are belonging to the same human mankind. Lastly, I urge the Security Council of the United States to reform and take the CCP out of the Security Council. Take CCP out of Security Council. Take CCP out of Security Council. Freedom in China. Freedom in everywhere. Thank you. Thank you. Solidarity.
Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Winnie. Our next speaker is from representing Vietnamese community of Greater Toronto area. Before we invite her, we will play the revolution song from the Vietnamese community.
Yêu đây là thế giới, tình thương đem về muôn nơi. Việt Nam đây thì nói đi xây tình người. Việt Nam, Việt Nam, Việt Nam quê hương đất nước sáng ngời. Việt Nam, Việt Nam, Việt Nam muôn đời. Việt Nam. Việt Nam đây miền sinh tươi, Việt Nam đem vào sông núi, tự do công bình bằng ái muôn đời. Việt Nam không đổi xưa máu, Việt Nam kêu gọi thương nhau, Nam đi xây đắp nên vui dài lâu. Việt Nam trên đường tương lai, lửa thiên soi toàn thế giới, Việt Nam đang nguyện chiến đấu cho đời. Tình thương đem về muôn nơi, đi xây tình người. Việt Nam, Việt Nam, Việt Nam hương. Việt Nam, Việt Nam, Việt Nam muôn đời. Việt Nam, Việt Nam quê hương đất nước sáng ngời. Việt Nam, Việt Nam, Việt Nam muôn đời.
Thank you very much everyone for having me here today. Cảm ơn cháu đứng bên ai nói chuyện hôm nay đây. Xin lỗi các người Việt đây. Cháu nói bằng tiếng Anh là tiếng Việt của cháu.
Như vậy thôi.
Thank you everyone for having me here today. 75 years since the Declaration of Human Rights was signed. I've been alive for 1/3 of that. I was born here in Canada, and the privilege that I have among this group today is beyond measure. And I've often asked, why do I care? Why do I stand here and speak up when I wasn't born there, when I wasn't there to personally experience it, when my immediate family wasn't persecuted in the past decade? But I want the governments around the world to know that for every generation that is stricken down, the next will rise again. For every mother or father taken, the child comes for justice. For the livelihoods lost, affected souls call for an end to oppression, an end to communist control in East and Southeast Asia. How quickly would they silence this kind of speech? How violently would they disband this kind of gathering? And how long will our families overseas have to worry about every cop they pass, every word they post, every belief and act of faith that they do? Vietnam, be it Buddhist or Christian, they target religious leaders because they have the power to inspire. Religious leaders inspire populations to distinguish right from wrong, inspire people to stand together, and that threatens them. The Vietnamese government targets independent journalists just as the CCP targets independent journalists and academics because they spread truth. Agents of truth threaten in power. If all the agents of truth disappeared, the regime would have full control of the narrative. But they will not disappear. We will not disappear. The truth does not disappear. The more they take, the more they imprison and beat, and the more grief that they cause, the more anger that they fuel. And that anger turns to energy, turns to action. Every abuse of power committed is an invitation for dissent, and that is what we are here to do. We are here to support our brothers and sisters in Vietnam, in China, in Tibet, in Hong Kong. I have attended rallies and protests for a free Vietnam all of my life, and it took me a long time to understand the full breadth of what I was being taught. These protests were happening long before me, and I do not expect them to stop until the regime is dismantled. Because we are all from proud peoples. We are strong. We are resourceful. We will not give in.
Yes!
With our words, with our voices. And there is power. For me, there is power in life and in levity. So please forgive me for wrapping this up with a joke. A climate activist, a social media user, and a monk all walk into a bar. They say ouch and are forced back to the South door. I'm not making light of abuse from the government or from a police force.
I'm here representing literally empty promises that Vietnam, that China has made, just like so many dictatorships, colonizers,
and oppressors make to the rest of the world. Now, I have noticed that we are all from different groups. The chants that we have are very different. So when I say now, I would like everybody here to say now, now, now. Free Vietnam now!
No, no, no!
Free Uyghurs now!
No, no, no!
Free Tibet now!
No, no, no!
Free Hong Kong now!
No, no, no!
There are so many more on that list that we could keep yelling all day, but I'm running out of breath, and I thank you very much for having me here.
Woo! Very good, very good.
Thank you, Bob. That's very inspiring. And now let us keep the chant going and let everybody hear us. Canada, stand up for human rights.
No, no, no!
Canada, stand up for us.
No, no, no!
Free Tibet.
Free East Pakistan! China out! Free Hong Kong! China out! Shame, shame, CCP!
shame, shame, CCP!
Stop genocide in Tibet!
Stop genocide in Tibet!
Stop genocide in East Pakistan! Release all political prisoners now! Turn your hands off Vietnam! Turn your hands off Taiwan! CCP, your time is up! Stop collecting DNA! Stop residential school in Tibet! Stop Uyghur concentration camps! Stop transnational repression! Canada, stand up for human rights!
Release political prisoner now.
Release the political prisoners now.
China heads of Taiwan. China heads of Vietnam.
CCP, your time is up. CCP, your time is up. CCP, your time is up. Stop collecting DNA.
Stop collecting DNA.
Stop residential school in Tibet. Stop the concentration camp. Stop the transnational repression. Stop transnational repression.
Canada, stand up for human rights. Canada, stand up for human rights. Canada, stand up for us. Canada, stand up for us. Free Tibet, China out. Free Uzbekistan, China out. Free Hong Kong, China out. Shame, shame, CCP. Shame, shame, CCP. Shame, shame, CCP. Genocide in Tibet. Stop genocide in Uzbekistan.
Stop genocide in East Turkestan. Free all political prisoners now. Free all political prisoners now. Free all political prisoners now.
All your political prisoners now. China heads of Vietnam. China heads of Taiwan. CCP, your time is up.
CCP, your time is up. Stop collecting DNA. Stop collecting DNA. Stop collecting DNA. Stop residential schools in Tibet. Stop residential schools in Tibet. Stop residential schools in Tibet. Stop concentration camps. Stop concentration camps. Stop transnational repression. Stop transnational repression.
We will rise together. Can we have everyone go upstairs so we can have a group picture, please? Yes, you guys can come forward, stand on the stairs. And if someone can hold up all the fighters in front of the stairs, please. Thank you. Thank you for coming and thank you for your time. We know it has been a full day and thank you for bearing with us.
下面我要放一个集体照，请大家站到阶梯上，大家把牌子举起来，把照片在 social media 上，我们要分享，让 CCP 让更多人知道。Okay, click as much as you want. Pictures, video. Let's use the social media more. Okay, that's all I want. Take as much as picture, please. Can everyone come over together? 係，大家企埋一齊，我哋影幅相啊，企埋啲 OK， 人多勢眾啊！Okay, we need more people because like every time when we ask tomorrow, please? And media, they will ask how many people. You know? So this is kind of shame if you don't have enough people. Right? So let's try to gather as much as possible.
Anh nào nha.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you. I want to say thanks to Mr. George. He's always okay. One time we got here. We got here at what? At 12:30. George been here 12 o'clock, setting up the mic. I want to say thanks to Mr. George. Thank you, Mr. George. And I want to say thanks to MC Shifu and where's Shifu? Shifu over there. Thank you, George. Thank you. Sorry, and I always forget your name too. Imam and Shifu. Thanks for that amazing MC as always. And thank you, George. Thank you, George. All right, and thank you, guys. And we also want to thank you, Sunny. Okay, okay, and last but not least, thank you everybody who come out to join us. Okay, everybody make our voice stronger, bigger, louder. Okay, so that we can make CCP hear about it. Thank you. We're going to do this every year. Don't forget October 1st and don't forget December 10th. That's it. We need to stick together. Bottom line. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Please keep on China out. Please China out. Please Pakistan China out. Please Pakistan China out. Free Hong Kong China out. Free Hong Kong China out. Show CCP. Shame CCP. Show CCP. CCP. Stand up with Taiwan. Stand up with Taiwan. Stand up with Vietnam. Stand up with Vietnam. Thank you, guys. Peace out.